Really? Really? That's the ending? Welcome back, Boat Dragons. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 books that I think had really poor endings. Before we get to the topic, though, please make sure if you enjoy this video to like it, hit subscribe if you want to get more content from me, and join my Discord if you would like to join a bunch of really cool people talking about books and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So, link for that is in the description below. You can click that link to join. And with that being said, guys, let's get right to this topic. This is going to be fairly short and sweet, but I did want to tackle this topic because there are just a few books that, the ending really didn't work. And some of these books are pretty good in terms of what they set out to do. They just didn't end that great. And the first book on this list is The Last Argument of Kings. This is book 3 in the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. When you write a trilogy as good as the First Law is, you want to really be able to nail that ending. And it wasn't a bad ending. It just didn't totally work. It didn't make sense to me. It honestly felt like a waste for one character in particular. I won't go into details who or why. I don't want to give any major spoilers here, but I will say that I think the book could have ended better. And, it was fine. It was a great book for most of it. It just didn't end well. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. I've heard other people say that as well. And I've talked with people who like the ending. So there's definitely 2 sides to this coin, like there is with any other coin. I was disappointed. And I am going to continue reading the First Law series, but this definitely won't be in my greatest endings of all time category. The next one on this list is Mockingjay. That is book 3 in the Hunger Games series. It wasn't bad, but it didn't work for me, and that's partly because of the love triangle that was established throughout the Hunger Games series ended in a way that I was not satisfied with. I thought that the hero of the story ended up with the lesser of the 2 love interests. That may be an unpopular opinion, but I really, really did not like who Katniss ended up with. If you've seen the movies, you know what I'm talking about. If you read the books, you know what I'm talking about. But I don't want to spoil it for anyone else who may not have read the series. But I did enjoy the Hunger Games overall. It was a pretty good series, but yeah, that ending it was just kind of blah for me. The next book on this list is The Hero of Ages. That is the final book in Mistborn Era 1 by Brandon Sanderson. I really was hoping for a spectacular ending, and it felt like a bait and switch. Throughout the whole series, it seemed like one person was going to be the victor and was going to end up the winner at the end of the books, and that it ends up being somebody completely different that you really didn't see coming. I guess that's okay. I like that other character, but it just didn't quite work for me. So, Mistborn Era 1 was a pretty good series, but that ending just didn't click for me. On to the next one, which is The Giver by Lois Lowry. I had just come off reading the Hunger Games series not long before I read this book, and I decided I liked dystopian. Oh, and I had read the Divergent series as well. So yeah, I decided I liked dystopian novels. I figured I'd give a more classic dystopian book a try, and I'd heard so many people talk about how good The Giver is, and it was fine. It was okay, but the ending did not set well with me. The revelation of what has been going on throughout the entirety of this story and in the history of this community ends up being something that I frankly thought was stupid. I'm not continuing with this series. I don't think. Somebody may talk me into reading the rest of the books in the series, but I just didn't click with the ending, and I really don't know that I want to continue. I liked the movie. I thought the movie was actually much better than the book. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, but it didn't work for me. And the final one on this list is a book that I've talked about before, so I'm not going to go into great detail with it. That book is Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. Now, this is the only book on the list I wish I had not read. I'm glad I read all the other books on this list. But after I finished reading Rage of Dragons, I looked back and I'm like, that was a complete waste of my reading time. I did not like the main character throughout most of the book. There were some great moments. There were some epic battles. So some of it was cool, but the main character was just really, really bland for me. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. What I'm here to talk about is the ending of Rage of Dragons. That was what sealed the deal for me that this book series is not for me. And the reason I didn't like the ending was because it did not make sense. The society in Rage of Dragons had been set up in such a way that there was a very well-defined caste system, and that caste system was followed almost to a T every single time. And I felt like the ending just abandoned all of that for the sake of, let's just make this character really great. No. You set a precedent and then you just all of a sudden break it for the sake of an ending. Sorry, that doesn't work for me. And there were lots of other problems with the book, as I've already mentioned. So, that one I think on this list has to be the worst of the 5. All of these books I enjoyed except for that one. It was just those endings didn't really click for me. So, that's the end of my list. Tell me some of yours. Tell me some of the books that you just really didn't like the ending, or maybe you even hated the ending. You just absolutely hated everything about it. That would be something I would be curious to hear. To end on a good note, everyone has different opinions. Please keep it respectful in the comments. Some people really, really love these books. Rage of Dragons gets a lot of love. A lot of people really love that series. So it's just my personal opinion, and you have your opinions as well. Let's keep it civil in the comments, but let me know some of your unpopular opinions on book endings. Until next time, guys, make sure you read more books. I'll talk with you soon.